Hi, welcome back to the Convo Couch. I'm Fiorella, and we're right here at the Berner in Costa Mesa with a panel of many great candidates. And I have with me Rachel Bruhnke from running for District 7 City Council.
70.
70.
Assembly, California State Assembly.
Running for
Long
District
Beach,
70.
San Pedro, Catalina.
Great, great, great. And tell me, what got you into politics, into the Bernie movement or the Green
Yeah,
movement?
right. Okay, interesting you mentioned the Bernie movement. When Bernie Sanders first came along, of course, totally interested. Most of my background is in foreign policy, and so I like the fact that he was wanting to shut down the CIA back in the 1970s, and that when he and Hillary Clinton were debating one time, the name of Henry Kissinger came up, who is just really a devil in the mind of Latin America solidarity people, of which I'm one, for his role in the coup in Chile against Salvador Allende and the subsequent military dictatorship there for 17 years. And Hillary Clinton just had no qualms about saying that Henry Kissinger was a friend of hers, and she looked to him for advice. And Bernie Sanders, God love him, he said, Henry Kissinger is no friend of mine. And I thought that was just so courageous and matter of fact. But however, at the beginning of the Bernie movement, I started a social media group that was called Burners Against Militarism. I just really felt that we need to have a very, very strong and unequivocal anti-war message, especially with a $700,000 military budget and all of our money, about 50% of our tax dollars, going to fight foreign wars and pay for past wars and plan for future wars. And then we wonder why our cities are crumbling and why our kids aren't getting enough education and why we don't have health care and we can't pay for anything. And why we can't clean up the environment, why we can't transition from fossil fuels to renewable energies, energy efficiency. We can't do any of that because our hands are tied. All our money is wrapped up in the military. And so shame on the deciders of that policy. But what got me originally into politics, I'm 50 now, is back in 1978 was my first political act. And I made little signs that said, I was about 12 years old, and I made little signs that said, vote no on Proposition 13, save our schools. And so I vividly remember that, and then I took it around to my schools and pinned them up because my school was a voting area. And so ironically, here we are over 30 years later, and one of my primary platform positions is to amend Proposition 13. There is going to be a proposition on the ballot, and it's going to call for not the repeal of Proposition 13. Private property, homes is going to be exempt from this amendment. Farmland in California is going to be exempt. They will still maintain their 1976, 1978 property tax levels. However, large corporate entities, the Chevrons, Disneylands, large corporations that still pay because of Proposition 13, people don't know this, they pay 1978 property tax levels. None of us do, and yet the corporate class in this country does. And a couple of things is the problem with that. One, it creates total inequality, and it's no taxation plus tons of representation, right? Because they are the power in our lives. But if we undo that loophole, then what's going to happen is $11 billion will come into California's coffers. And what they're estimating is, I live in Los Angeles area, although my district is LA, my assembly district is San Pedro, Long Beach, Signal Hill, and Catalina, is that they say that'll bring $5 billion into LA Unified School District. So the 400,000 children who go to school in Los Angeles will get a windfall, and that's what they need. The other negative of Proposition 13 and not having fairly taxed commercial property all these years is, if you think about it, California is over-commercialized. Too much of our land is used for shopping. Too much of our land is used for commerce. Too much of our land is used for non-stop consumption.
Which contributes to homelessness and gentrification, and we have a huge issue on that, don't we?
Yes, and I'm tying those together in what I call, through my years of Latin America solidarity, land reform. I mean, when we talk international issues, we talk land reform. Farmers need land to farm. People who live in cities need homes. We need a space in which to live and work from, and et cetera. And so definitely, when you've used so much of your land for commercial enterprises, then you have less land for housing, and the prices go up. So, and of course, the housing stock is commercialized also. So when you have so few people owning so much land, and it's only gotten worse over the years, then you have this huge problem. And one last thing, in terms of what we all really need to survive, since the 1970s, housing prices in the United States have, or housing, size in the United States has doubled. So not only do we have less land, more towards shopping and commercial, but our houses are so darn big, we can't fit as many in. So, a lot of this got to change, and that's why I'm glad to be part of this 2018 electoral movement. I think we're really making change. No matter what happens, we're making a lot of change.